and welcome back to Old Soul Podcast. My name is Bree, that's spelled B-R-E-I. Thanks so much. Today's commentary is going to be another commentary about music as a form of storytelling, and basically this is going to be similar to my K-pop commentary video in that I'm going to shine a spotlight on some artists / musicians who I feel like deserve more recognition, or just sort of a spotlight moment for these artists because I feel like they're underrepresented or overlooked, or people just don't talk about them enough in mainstream media. I don't feel like they should. So this is probably not going to be very long because I don't have a lot of thorough things to say just in terms of details, but I just wanted to do sort of a short and simple commentary about musicians who I feel like, again, my criteria for a spotlight is consistency, experimentation, real skill in artistry, whether that's writing your music, producing your music, what else? Playing instruments of your own, great dance skills, and again, just a longevity with your music from beginning to end. Has there been adapting and growth? So I feel like personally these are artists that you can laugh and cry to, or just dance to and smile to. They have inspired some of your faves and popular artists. I know this for a fact. I've written for some of your faves. I also know this for a fact. And they can cover an artist's song and often transform that song. And this is a fact. I actually listen to a lot of these artists' covers of other songs and prefer these covers and know those songs because of these artists. Just FYI. And again, I'm speaking on their consistency, their artistic approaches, their skills, and ultimately, I think this is what music ought to be. Okay? Some of these artists are somewhat well known, even if you don't necessarily know their name. They've been in top movie soundtracks to some extent. Like I said, they've written for some of your favorite artists, so you've heard them on, streaming services or YouTube, and people don't often know their faces or kind of brush by them despite knowing their faces or their names. And so the first person I'm going to talk about is Aurora. Okay, so Aurora is an artist who is sort of this unique, otherworldly sort of being who has the short cut hair and her bangs and has beautiful, custom outfits that I believe one of her sisters actually tailors for her a lot of the time, or styles her, from an interview I watched way back when. And she is actually the voice for that whimsical sound in one of the Frozen movies. And she's been around for a very long time. Some songs that I can think off at the top of my head is Running with the Wolves, Queendom, Through the Eyes of a Child. She's done several cover songs that are really original and great, interpretations of those songs. She seems to have a very kind heart and great soul, and has recently released music that's really good. It gives a lot of an 80s retro vibe, but still has that spin of the original Aurora sound. And I wanted to spotlight Aurora because I don't hear a lot about Aurora in mainstream media, and that is more than unfortunate. She makes music that can make you really poppy and uplifting, and again, laugh and cry. But her ability to really tell a story in her music that's almost heartbreaking is incredible. And so that's why I took the time to voice my opinions about Aurora. I don't often see Aurora really dance in the beginning of her career. She has a lot of movements with her hands, her arms. It's just sort of her way to express while singing and like on stage. But I do and have noticed that she's starting to take on a lot more choreography in her own way, and it's lovely. So shout out to Aurora. Okay, the other artist I want to give a shout out to is Birdie. Okay, so Birdie. I've been listening to Birdie since she did her first official, I guess you could call it a debut release album that was just consisted of all covers, and that's when she was very, very young. She has this sort of old soul vibe, old school vibe. She's very much like a ballad type person. Piano is her thing, but she has tried many other things. She has this lovely voice. I don't want to say airy, but it's almost fantastical, and it has this very mysterious vibe to it. Her videos are always interesting to watch, and can you really listen to a Birdie song without being a little sad? I don't know. I have not experienced anything but sadness when I listen to Birdie songs. But you can definitely tell that she is giving you everything she has and her full heart. And Birdie has been on quite a few soundtracks. Don't quote me on this, but I do think she was in the Brave soundtrack. I think she was in the Hunger Games soundtrack with the song Just a Game. I believe she was in the Fault in Our Stars soundtrack with a song called T-Shirt. And a lot of the songs on the soundtracks aren't even my favorite songs by her, but I really, really like her, and I had to give her a spotlight today. So, yeah. The next artist I want to talk about is Diamond White. Okay, Diamond was on a few of those sort of like American Idol type shows, and when she was very young. From there, you know, she's done some acting. She has a very strong, powerful voice. I'd say that right now she's kind of doing like alternative R&B sort of vibes. She's done sort of trap-like vibes, and I just personally like seeing and hearing her music. I think right now she's independent, aka not with a label, and just seeing her growth has been wonderful, and I think she's still making very relatable, fun, you know, heartfelt music. But again, I don't think she's getting enough recognition, and I don't really understand why. You know, sure, marketing and like things like that. It is important to note that, you know, I talked about Aurora and Birdie. Those are basically, you know, they would be seen as, you know, white adjacent white women to some extent, right? I don't know their like nationality specifically in detail, but Diamond is a black woman, and so there are certain struggles that come with being a black woman in everyday life. So in the industry, it's even more difficult, and I just personally think that Diamond White has a lot to show for just what she's created already, but I do think that if she was given more access and a larger platform, that she would really soar. And so if you haven't heard of her, you should check her out. You should check all these artists out, by the way, that I'm talking about, but I really, really feel like in comparison to the other artists I just discussed, Diamond, you know, I don't think she's really had anything on like a soundtrack. I don't think she's like really written for anyone. But she is adaptable, and she is talented, and she deserves more. Okay, the next artist I'm going to talk about is Izana. And forgive me if I am pronouncing her name wrong. She is Korean, and I'm pretty sure it's Izana. And I just wanted to, you know, make that note. So Izana is, to me, I would consider her under the jazz sort of musician, category. She's under a company known as Antenna, and they're really known for, reputable professional type of artist under that label. And Izana is so refreshing. Like, she makes jazz, she plays keyboard, piano, so on and so forth. Her music is really different, and her videos are really gorgeous, and her voice is really very actually light and airy, but she makes such strong music, like actually writes strong music, that it all flows perfectly because she really knows what's going to work and what's not going to work. Her live, instrumentation and performances are incredible. I think she was also on sort of a show like American Idol, things like that, but in Korea before, she started working under Antenna, so on and so forth. But if you're really looking for something that can fall in the range of somewhat classical and jazz and like modern times, you need to listen to Izana, and you won't be disappointed. Okay, the next and last artist that I'm going to talk about today is Victoria Monet. Okay, again, I need to know if I'm saying her last name wrong. I do apologize, but I'm pretty sure it's Monet. So Victoria, she is everything. I personally think that Victoria Monet needs to be at the level of Doja Cat. Period. She has, done tours with Ariana Grande. She's written for Ariana Grande. She's done collabs with Ariana Grande. She's released solo work. All of those songs are bops, by the way. Her new album, Jaguar, is everything from the styling choices, the videos, and the very sensual aspects of like womanhood and growing up, and just like, it's such a good album. And I think she's doing Jaguar Part 2 pretty soon, so I'm excited about that. And she is a Black woman, and I believe she was in a group, or tried to be in a group, before she became a solo independent artist, by the way, so it's more difficult when you're independent as well. And she just has consistently good music. I'm hearing enough about it, and that really actually pisses me off. And I feel like with Victoria, it's even more frustrating because the songs that she's writing and collabing with these other well-known stars, of course they're gonna have higher numbers because those stars have, established fan bases. But why is it when Victoria sings the songs very well, by the way, she has a great voice and she's a very, very talented performer, why is it when she sings her songs and releases them just as well as when another artist sings them, they don't get the numbers? What's the difference? You tell me. And I think it's a conversation that needs to be had because she has all these connections, right, to these other artists who are, granted, very talented, and she's making this incredible music for them, and then she's, making her own music, probably more tailored to her and her voice, and it's just as incredible, if not better, but she's not getting that same hype, she's not getting that same attention. I don't like that. It's not right. So do your part and go listen to Victoria Monet. Do yourself a favor and go listen to Victoria. Well, that's all I have to say about those artists. Like I said, I didn't get into a lot of detail. I just really wanted to shine a light on their talents and their storytelling and their abilities. And I hope that this motivates you to go and check them out. And if not, disappointing. Too bad, your loss. And that's all I have to say for today. I hope you have a good rest of your day and that you enjoyed the commentary. Okay, bye.
But if I die today, I'd rather yesterday. I hope someone remember me.